A god is a being or object worshipped as divine with powers over nature and human fortunes. A being with immense power or the creator of the universe. But did you know that even the gods had someone in charge of them? In every ancient pantheon of gods, there is always a powerful deity who rules over the rest of the group. These deities have significant influence over the others, either due to their deeds and achievements, or because they were the primordial god the other gods were born out of. These titans are the true kings and queens of the gods, and we are going to be exploring a few of them in this video. Odin, the one-eyed All-Father. Odin is one of the most important gods in Norse mythology. In fact, he is the leader of that pantheon of gods. His name is derived from the Old Norse word Othar, which means inspiration, rage, or frenzy. This is incredibly interesting and fitting as he is the god of war, wisdom, and death. He is also the god of the sky and magic. We will get to the latter in a second. He is the son of Bor and Besla, and brother to Vili and Ve. Odin, according to mythology and various texts, had many sons, but four gods explicitly identified as sons of Odin in Eddic poems are Thor, Balder, Vidar, and Vali. I'm sure if you haven't been hiding under a rock in the past decade, you must have heard about Thor, the god of thunder, and Balder, popularized in the sensational God of War video game. Odin is called the All-Father, and this is not because he fathered all the gods like I first thought. According to Snorri Sturluson, Odin and his brothers created mankind out of two trees, placed them in Midgard. In another part, they created Asgard as a dwelling place for the gods. Odin holds court there in his high seat, where he watched over all, knows all that happens. And for this reason, Odin is called All-Father, that he is the father of all gods and men, and of all things that were made by him and by his might. I think it will be fair to assume that the epithet is more of a honorific title, emphasizing Odin's role as leader of the Aesir and patriarch of gods and men. Odin is often portrayed as a tall old man with a long white beard. He wears a blue cloak and a wide-brimmed hat. He also carries a spear called Gungnir and has a golden magical ring called Draupnir. Aside from these, Odin also has several creatures. His two ravens, Hugin and Munin, fly around the world and report back what they see. Sleipnir, the eight-legged horse, can run through all the worlds. And finally, Geri and Freki, his wolves. I said previously that Odin was the god of magic, and it took immense sacrifice from him to acquire this power and field of authority. It is said that Odin looked out across the world to obtain knowledge and wisdom. He desired to know things hidden from him. This is the motivation that led him to sacrifice his eyes in Mimir's well for a drink of knowledge, throw himself on a spear Gungnir, and hang himself on Yggdrasil for 9 days and nights to gain knowledge, runes, and magic of the other worlds and wisdom. Now that was the father of Norse mythology. Let's now talk about the mother, not of the Norse pantheon, but of Japanese mythology and its pantheon. Amatarasu. Amatarasu is considered the chief female goddess within Japanese Shinto mythology, and not because her name means shining from heaven, or because her father, Izanagi, gave her responsibility over the other gods, but because of what she symbolizes to the Japanese culture as a whole. Her most prominent title is Ohirume no Mochi no Kami, which means the great son of the Kami. Amaterasu is the queen of heaven, the deity of creation, though she actually never took part in the creation of the world. That title was given to her by her father Izanagi, who's the original creator deity of creation and life, according to the legend. Amatarasu is also considered and known as the goddess of the sun and the center of light. She is primarily responsible for being a nourishment-giving source to all living creatures and for the orderly movement of the day into the night. Her importance is exemplified in one story where her brother Susanoo, the storm god, angered her. He destroyed the divisions in her rice fields, disrespected his sister's dwelling abode, and finally threw a dead horse into her weaving hall. Aggrieved, Amaterasu hid herself in a cave in protest, and darkness fell upon the world. The sun is a manifestation of orderliness and purity, two important concepts of Shinto. There is an order to everything in the world, from Amaterasu down to the inhabitants of Jikogu, which is another word for hell. This order is evident throughout Japanese society as well. The Japanese imperial family claimed her as the original ancestor, and with it, their divine right to rule. This meant that they were at the top of the Japanese societal hierarchy, right under her, and one of the many justifications for the society's caste system in pre-modern Japan. The sun is an important part of Japanese culture. This can be seen by the use of symbols from the sun in many areas such as flags and cultural artifacts. Amaterasu isn't just the queen, but the epitome of Japanese soul. Ammon-Ra. While we are talking about the sun, there is another god we can speak about, Ammon-Ra of Egypt. He is the ancient Egyptian god of the sun, creation and air. He is shown to be a human with the head of a ram, which you've seen in many statues of Egyptian origin. He was the most important deity of ancient Egypt during the New Kingdom period of 1570 to 1069 BC and became a very popular deity for centuries. You've probably noticed that Ammon-Ra is not an average name, but two words with a hyphen. His origin story is very interesting indeed. Ammon is first mentioned in pyramid text as a local god in Thebes. He was associated largely as a simple fertility god and held no significance over the other gods during that time. However, the interesting thing about Ammon is that he is also represented in the element of obscurity. This was very significant. This left room for people to define him in their own way and according to their own needs. A god of light could not also represent darkness. However, a god whose very nature was hidden from all of us could take on any aspect of existence, and this is exactly what happened with Ammon. Ammon grew in power in Thebes during the Middle Kingdom period, 2040 to 1782 BCE, as Amos I defeated the Hyksos. He attributed that victory to Ammon, connecting him to the sun god Ra. Because of the elements of obscurity or hiddenness we spoke about, Ammon could be adapted to fit any attributes one wished to add to him, in this case becoming the life-giving aspect of existence, the sun. Ammon then became Ammon-Ra, king of the gods and creator of the universe. His epithets became the self-created one and king of the gods, for creating himself along with everything else. Ammon created the universe, while Ra was the premier god of the sun and light. And it could be hypothesized that Thebes' noble families wanted to make it easier for their god to rise in popularity within Egypt. So they fused the two gods on a cultural level in an attempt to bring both worshippers into one group during the New Kingdom period. Hello, hope you're enjoying the video. Please like the video and make sure to comment on what you think so far about it, as this goes a long way and helps support my channel. Now let's get back to it. Obatala. But in talking about gods that mix, there is another god we can speak about in the Nigerian religion, or more specifically, the Yoruba culture. Obatala is the primary god within this religion and is considered the god of the sky, purity, and creation of humankind. And depending on who you are talking to, can either be the daughter or the son of Olodumare. According to one retelling, Olodumare, who is the supreme god far away in the skies, created other deities, known as the Orishas, to use as proxies to govern the world through. According to Yoruba spirituality, Obatala is believed to be the oldest of the other Orishas and the Sky Father who created human bodies, which was brought to life by the smooth breath of Olodumare. Due to his closeness to Olodumare, he is usually referred to as he who has divine authority, or Alabalase. And some people even believe that they are one and the same. He is also referred to as Father of the Orishas. Known for his clear judgment and some might argue leadership, Obatala is the divine authority consulted by the Orishas when a conflict needs to be settled. There is a reason why, depending on who you talk to, Obatala takes many forms and interpretations of who he is. It is because he, as a god, has had many retellings across Africa and also in Cuba, America, Brazil, and other countries. A lot of African migrants brought the story of Obatala from Africa, and it has changed and taken on many forms. However, one constant about his mythos in the various retelling is a symbol of the white dove. It is meant to symbolize the purity and honesty that Obatala represents. We will go into much detail about Obatala and the other Orishas in future videos. Zeus. Now let's shift from pureness to just pure power. So we are going to talk about Zeus, the god of thunder, the main man in the Greek pantheon. He is not only a god of power and war, but also of wisdom, surprisingly. Zeus is often seen as an old man with a beard and is represented by symbols such as the lightning bolt and the eagle. In Greek mythology, Zeus is both the youngest and the eldest son of Kronos and Rhea. He was the eventual ruler of the gods. Near the beginning of time, Kronos had learned that one day one of his children will overthrow him. So paranoid and fearful, he swallowed his 5 children: Demeter, Hera, Hestia, Hades, and Poseidon. Zeus escaped the same fate through the trickery of his mother. Ironically, Kronos caused that prophecy he feared to come through by his own actions. The 5 siblings followed Zeus' lead as they overthrew Kronos and the Titans, leading to Zeus becoming the god of the sky and leader of the Olympians. Zeus was known for his infidelity, a lot of it, and he had many children with many different mothers, different from his first wife Metis, from Perseus to Hercules, who later became the Greek god of strength and heroes. He eventually swallowed Metis alive because it was foretold that a second child by her will overthrow him. Seems like the apple didn't fall far from the tree. Now, if you guys enjoyed this video and found it helpful, please hit the thumbs up button and subscribe to my channel. Also, leave your questions and thoughts below. Thanks for watching and see you on the next one.